All right, free radicals of all shapes, sizes, colors, denominations, orientations, educations, and political affiliations. Welcome to The Radical Independent. I'm Dave, and if you're watching this, you might just be a radical independent too. Okay, South Carolina YouGov poll via Twitter, via political polls at Polling Numbers. Joe Biden! I mean, folks, he's at... I hate to talk like Obama. Folks. Hey, folks. He's at 40%. You don't think he's going to win this primary just walking away? I mean, he may not, but why wouldn't he? The superdelegates are going to say things like, well, Joe Biden, 40% of the vote in South Carolina, and these big states, these big primary states, lots of delegates, and Joe Biden is the one that's going to win. By the way, in my home state of Florida, Biden is up on Bernie Sanders like 38 to 25 or something. It's a big margin. Bernie's not close. At least Bernie is in second place. Oh, and Mayor Pete. Good old Mayor Pete. He's in third. CNN is they're going to be having a good time. They're going to pop some champagne over at CNN. MSDNC. They're loving the Mayor Pete. Deep state CIA operative Mayor Pete, who wants to send troops to Mexico. He does want to send troops to Mexico. Okay? Let me say it again. He goes, well, it's under the guise of safety. We've partnered with them before on safety. It's kind of like when you go to the mall and you see a mall cop there standing next to your local policeman. No, Mayor Pete, it's actually we're sending troops, so we need congressional approval on that one. We don't just do little covert operations without, running it by the people first, having a vote in Congress. I know that's a little confusing for you, Mayor Pete, since you ran kind of like a podunk city, and by the way, you ran it into the ground. Gentrification, and the black people are over here, we'll keep them over there. The white people are over here, and we'll make sure that we do lots of stuff that kind of favors the white people. And by the way, I'm not into this whole white privilege thing, but Mayor Pete is like the epitome of white privilege! But yet, let's just keep elevating his status. Look at him in South Carolina. Go, Pete, go. Elizabeth Warren, who continues to do her free fall routine, and she's losing supporters, unfortunately, to Mayor Pete. Mayor Pete, you think some of those Kamala... Where do the Kamala supporters go? They went to Mayor Pete. Mayor Pete sat down with the Hillary Clinton task force on how to stop Bernie Sanders. He sat down, had at least one meeting, maybe multiple meetings with these people, and look, he is a firewall. Mayor Pete is a firewall in Iowa and in other states, but Iowa and New Hampshire, so Sanders doesn't get to the nomination. That's my theory. And by the way, Tulsi Gabbard, who is like a little chihuahua nipping at everybody's heels. It's awesome. It's the aloha that won't quit. Tulsi Gabbard at 5%, ladies and gentlemen. Should be a qualifying poll, DNC. Is it? Where are the goalposts today, DNC? Well, Bob, it looks like they moved the goalposts out of the stadium, the DNC did. They had a crew come in last night, and those pesky goalposts are gone. So you can kick that football anywhere you want, and it's good. Tulsi Gabbard at 5% should be a qualifying poll, and don't know if it will be. There she is beating up on poor Andrew Yang in South Carolina, the Yang gang. Hey, look, I like Andrew Yang, but I don't like him as much as Tulsi, obviously. And, gee, who told you about Tom Steyer? Let me think. Who was this guy? Well, he's got a YouTube channel. It's a radical channel. 2 months ago, I said, do not let your guard down about Tom Steyer. Look, Tom Steyer is a more likable version of Mike Bloomberg. Not quite as much money. He would have to dip in a little deeper into his fortune in order to pull this off. But, he's spending, this is what Tom Steyer is doing. He's spending his own money to get your money so you will donate to him so he can be on the debate stage. See, it's a cycling thing, whereas Bloomberg, I think, made a big mistake. Bloomberg should have said, look, I want to be on the debate stage. This whole idea is, I'm not going to take a paycheck, and that sounds great. But once people find out how much money you have to begin with, they're going to say, who cares? You got $53 billion. You don't need a paycheck from anybody. You need to give me your paycheck. And I know human nature. I'm not asking Bloomberg for his money. But yeah, I kind of am. Just, Mike, you could fund this channel. I could go viral. I could have a bigger platform than Kyle Kalinske, all right? Hey, Kyle. I'm just kidding. Kyle earned, he paid his dues, whether I agree with him or not on every topic. The dude he deserves to have 600, 700,000 subscribers. But I digress. I want to get back to the topic at hand here, which is the fact that Tulsi Gabbard's at 5% and Tom Steyer is at 7% in South Carolina and Joe Biden is at 40%. What does that tell you? Well, I think it tells you that things are pretty much decided when it comes to who the nominee is going to be. Now, please, I know, I carry this burden and this weight around. You know what it is? It's the Tulsi people. They're all like, Dave, you're such a Debbie Downer. I watched your video and you're all like mad at the system and thinking that Tulsi can't make it and the DNC has rigged everything and you gotta stop that. And I'm like, whoa. Well, I'd like to stop it, but then you see like CNN, Mayor Pete a strong fourth in New Hampshire. Mayor Pete now a strong third in South Carolina. And they keep doing that, and Mayor Pete's going to be a strong first somewhere. And it's perception. We've heard these terms before, and I had to learn them all when I first heard it. Gaslighting and all this stuff where you just keep repeating the same propaganda over and over again. And then people get down. They go, well, Tulsi's only at 5%. Hey, Tulsi is in 6th place here. Number 6 in South Carolina. She should be on the debate stage. And this is going to drive them nuts. By the way, Booker and Klobuchar, a couple of candidates that the mainstream media loves. 2%. Mike Bloomberg, the ad campaign, it's really not sticking yet. But, he's here in the state of Florida. The dude is spending a fortune on ads. And people are going, Bloomberg? Bloomberg starts with a B, and so does Biden. Florida. Tell you what, it's neo-libs down here against neocons. And the neocons have, they're okay with Trump at this point. I think the neocons would have loved like a Jeb Bush character, but okay, their portfolio looks good. Their retirement looks great. They're going to stick with Trump. And the neo-libs, hey, Joe Biden, let's bring back the Obama days, and Biden is the closest thing. 40%. 40. Folks, that's a tough number to overcome. That's just crazy. And we can't sit here and go, well, if we wait a couple more weeks, look, the whole thing could turn on its head. But here's why it's probably not going to. We are in the Christmas season. And consumerism and advertising and telling everybody, gaslighting people, hey, Black Friday just continues right until December 24th. Go out and buy your stuff and don't stop buying until, you puke. Just keep buying until your credit card's maxed out. And people are like, oh no, I gotta buy more gifts. I see this in my own family. I love my wife, but she's always worried. I'm like, honey, don't worry about this. I think we have enough stuff for the kids. At a certain point, you pile presents under the tree, and the tree begins to elevate because you can't stuff any more presents under the tree. I said, let's not do that. And then, of course, kids are going to go to their grandparents' house, and they pile up presents. I'm just like, this has got to end somewhere. The expectations that people have, and the nonstop consumerism and advertising, it's not healthy. It's completely unhealthy. But this, by the way, is what we're all going to be doing pretty much from now until New Year's. And of course, then you got New Year's, and people are just going to go get drunk on New Year's Eve and go out and party, and then they'll recover, and then by, January 5th, they'll get out of their self-induced coma, and they'll realize, oh, there's a primary election coming up, and who's running for president? Oh, I know Joe Biden. I know who he is. That's good. They don't know about Biden's gaffes. They don't know about Biden, they're fat-shaming the 83-year-old guy. They don't know any of that stuff, even though it's happened. They don't know Biden has a stuttering issue all of a sudden that the media is apologizing for, even though I don't remember Joe Biden stuttering until this particular campaign. He's been in a couple other campaigns, by the way. I think this is his third or fourth campaign for president. I remember the plagiarism campaign. I think that was like 1988. This is how old the guy is, too. I mean, 88. I was like a young dude in 88. Anyway, what do we do? What do Tulsi Gabbard supporters do? We just hang on. We hang on and we keep supporting Tulsi Gabbard. We keep talking about Tulsi Gabbard. We are not naive to the challenges that lay before us. That is what Tulsi Gabbard has said on numerous occasions. We do it with aloha. We do it with good cheer. We make friends with people. Yeah, we definitely stick up for ourselves because, again, aloha doesn't mean that you shrink away from the truth and you don't debate people when they are spewing BS, because aloha does not take BS. It says hello. It says I respect you, but if you are lying to me, if you are gaslighting to me, if you are doing all these things that are apparent because you don't want my message to get out there, then guess what's going to happen? I'm going to call you out on it. That's what this channel does. That's what a lot of independent media has been doing successfully to some degree. But we've got, look at Joe Biden's at 40%. We've got a lot of work to do. And you know what, folks? We have to understand that if this doesn't work out, let's be honest, if this doesn't work out, I know this is a difficult topic for a few of us, we have to have a plan B. All right? And in the weeks to come, I will be focusing on the plan B. Plan A is Tulsi Gabbard. You may think, well, Dave, plan B's got to be Bernie, right? Not necessarily, but we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. I would vote for Bernie if he's the nominee in the Democratic Party. My big fear is that Bernie will not be the nominee in the Democratic Party, and neither will Tulsi Gabbard. So that leaves us with who? Probably Joe Biden, because he's got 40% in South Carolina. I don't know. I'm running out of things to say that are positive and uplifting when you see a poll like this. All I can say is this poll, though, entitles Tulsi Gabbard to the next debate. And if the DNC is going to ignore this poll, then we know that the corruption is not only deep, it's also unwavering. It's just not going to let her through, because it sees her as a damaging entity, because she doesn't walk in lockstep with neoliberalism. You heard it after the last debate. Well, Tulsi, you just don't like the Democratic Party. If you don't like Democrats, why are you running as a Democrat? I don't know. Didn't she win her seat in Congress like 3 times as a Democrat? I mean, obviously it worked in Hawaii. I mean, people knew who she was. She had to run within the 2 major political parties. The infrastructure just is not there for a third party. But guess what, folks? Those days, I think those days are almost over, where a third party doesn't have an impact. By the way, shout out to the Green Party and a shout out to the Libertarian Party. You know, I think the Green Party aligns probably better with what Tulsi wants to do. But man, those libertarians, they're organized out there. And I think those are the 2 parties to look to in the future for alternative candidates that can really help people. And eventually it's going to wear away this two-party duopoly. People are tired of this stuff. People who don't even like third parties and maybe what they stand for, they know that we need some choice. You know, we need a way around these two bad candidates that are about to be nominated again. Obviously, you have Trump, and it appears here, based on this poll, that you're going to have Joe Biden. But again, there's time, and we can see what will happen both in Iowa and in New Hampshire. And my guess is you don't have to win Iowa and you don't have to win New Hampshire to win this nomination. Even though Kim Iverson, she did a video about this. And quite honestly, I think that this election cycle, both Iowa and New Hampshire are almost meaningless. Almost meaningless. It may create a little bit of momentum, but when you have this kind of polling advantage in South Carolina for Joe Biden, those two states just, weather it, take the bad press, say, hey, yeah, those are outliers. New Hampshire is a weird state. Iowa's got these, hey, come over and sit at our table. Iowa caucus. You know what? Iowa should have a one-vote thing, not, hey, come over to our table and caucus with us. It should be, who do you want to vote for? Go into a voting booth, pull the lever, that's democracy. You're not pressured, you do what you want to do, and I think that would be a better way to begin, all right, to actually begin the primary season rather than have this backward groupthink type system, which quite honestly is about peer pressure more than anything else. Uninformed voters, come over here, and I'll tell you why Tom Steyer is awesome. Tom, have you heard of Tom Steyer before? By the way, Tom Steyer at 7%, that should concern people who I said 2 months ago, gotta watch this guy, and here he is, 7% in South Carolina with very deep pockets, and running ads until the cows in South Carolina go rummaging through the palmetto fields, So, in any event, I am done with this video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I got exclusive content over on Rockfin today as well. This video will be uploaded to YouTube. We'll see what happens with it. This is probably a good video to be demonetized, and I'm hoping it doesn't get demonetized. But if you support the channel, you like what I'm doing here, when I say I need the support, I actually really need the support. And I was watching a Graham Elwood video, and he's in the same boat. All right, the one difference is he's a comedian. He goes on tour, and he's got a secondary talent where I have no secondary talents. All right, so he can kind of earn money being a comedian and making people laugh, whereas I tend to make people cry, so nobody is going to pay me for that. So if you could throw, $5 or $10 over onto PayPal, or you could even become a patron over on Patreon and also get some great rock and roll music stuff while you're over there, because that's shared with my music channel. That would maybe be a 2-for-1 kind of thing. You get to subscribe to both platforms and you pay $1 or $2 a month and life is great. So there you go. It's 2-for-1 special. All right. I am done with this video, but I will be back with more content shortly, so stick around for that.